We're Brad and Lisa Elford, and together we are the owners and farmers of Sterling Hill Farm, which is a new regenerative farm just on the outskirts of Burk Falls.
Yeah, and we came here, we actually came to the area on vacation one year, and we just fell in love with cottage country in general. And we figured, you know, there's a lot of people that will move somewhere because of work-related things, which makes sense to most people, but we figured that we would pick where we wanted to live and let the rest of it kind of work itself out. So here we are.
Excellent. And when did you move here?
So we moved back to Ontario. We were living in Alberta. We're both from Ontario originally, and we moved back in the spring of 2017. And at that time, we had planned on purchasing a fixer-upper. Brad's a contractor. He was going to reno a house for us. And actually, when we moved back, the market was just insane here at that time. So our plans got shuffled a little bit. We ended up finding the farm where we live now in the summer of 2017. There was an old farmhouse here that was not livable, but we just decided, you know what, let's go for it. So we bought the farm and started building our forever home the following summer.
Excellent. And can you tell us a little bit more about regenerative farming?
So yeah, I'll take that one. So the basis of regenerative farming is that in the process of creating what it is that farmers create, whether it's produce or meat or whatever, we also want to improve the ground and the area that we are farming. So instead of taking away from the land, we want to be able to increase the fertility of the land and the soils that are around us. We want to be able to improve on the ability of our farm to use all the water that comes, whether it's from rain or whether it's whatever it might be, snowmelt. You know, there's a lot of things changing nowadays. We see more extreme weather conditions. So regenerative farming would be improving the ability of the farm to be productive both in times of maybe extreme drought and on the flip side, heavy rains that we seem to get now. So just improving the system as a whole.
And by improving the soil, you know, it's a very simple step up the ladder. So you have healthier soil, then the things that are coming from your soil, the plants and the growth from that soil are healthier. And then the animals that are in turn living on that soil are themselves healthier, and they're helping to regenerate the soil through natural fertilization and disturbance. So everything works in a cyclical way and harmonious, really.
So how much of this did you know before you started this?
Zero. Yeah, we're new to this. We are modern farmers, so straight up, we learn a lot from Google. Brad spends a lot of time on YouTube. Brad is an avid reader, so he's read a lot of books. Has a pretty good library going. There's a movement happening right now in this regenerative farming community. A lot of really amazing stuff is happening. So, and the great thing about it is that people are willing to share the information of things that they've learned. So people like us coming into it with no experience are able to kind of pick up and take off running. And obviously there's things to learn along the way, but we're still working on that. So. Yeah,
there's been a lot of pioneers that have come before us that have tried and done a lot of these things that we are doing and sort of vetted the processes. So it's not like we're just making this up as we go along. It's been done before, maybe by a few people, and we're just part of the movement as it grows. So it's cool to live in the day and age that we live in because information is so readily available. If a person wants to learn something, it's literally right there at our fingertips, which is pretty handy. So
yes, go Google.
Like what Google farmers?
Yeah. So what do you think is really spearheading or pushing this movement? Because I think I told you I've got a couple of past clients who have now become friends, and then I see they're posting and they're selling their home and starting the farming. Like, do you feel that?
Yeah, I think that comes back. It sends into your last question and about the age of information, where people are becoming so much more informed about things that are going on. People have started asking really good questions about where their food comes from, how it's grown, how it gets to their table, and what the costs are associated with that. And I don't just mean monetary costs, but the costs on our environment. And as people start to ask those questions, it's really eye-opening. Once you kind of crack the surface of that and you dig below, it's quite amazing, some of the stuff that's going on, and people want to do better. For us, I think our big push was becoming parents and realizing that we really want to leave something awesome for our kids. And we want to wake up every day and do everything that we can to make sure that what we leave for them and for our grandchildren is something good. So that's, I guess that's sort of our purpose.
Well, and it's interesting to see, especially with, what our current situation is and how people are leaving sort of more of the urban centers and looking for, I don't want to say a simpler lifestyle, because I have been on farms, not your type, like not this type of farming, but I know there's nothing simple about farming, but I can see people looking into just, like wanting to have property and being more self-sufficient and, sort of, do you sort of see that? Is that kind of what?
Absolutely. I think, humans have modernized and technology has brought us so far, but I think also people, and I will use the term simple, people want to get back to the basics of, waking up in the morning and being able to spend time outside and being surrounded by nature. And I think reducing some of the stress factors that maybe come with a lifestyle that has in the past been deemed as, a certain level of success of, really, whether it be a fast-paced corporate job or whether it's, having $1 million mortgage or whatever it may be, kind of stepping back from that and saying what's really important. And I guess reevaluating what you want to work towards. And it's not simple. It's challenging, but I think it's a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah, I can see it being rewarding, like when you're putting in that effort. So what time does your day start?
To be honest with you, we have a pretty easygoing schedule. We wake up when our children wake up, which is kind of a great way to do things. It's been a very, very long time since either one of us needed to set an alarm clock. Because we had two of them that are sleeping in the house with us. Some days we get lucky and some days we get up early. So I think, there's this concept that farmers need to get up at 5:30 in the morning or earlier to start their chores or whatever it might be. And for sure, if somebody is farming and they don't have the
if they're still working a 9-to-5
job, you obviously would absolutely have to get things done early in the morning, and in the evenings we have been pretty fortunate up until now that's not the case. So we get up when we get up, and it's most days at the end of the day I wonder where the day went because it goes by so fast.
We're really busy all the time, but we're not exactly sure what we're doing.
So it's good. This, to be honest with you, it's busy, it's challenging, there's a lot of new things to learn, but the whole experience for us it's a very spiritual experience too, to come back here to the land and to try and carve out an existence here for us and our family that is
it has like a meaning to it.
It does. It has deeper meaning to it than just being a consumer and being comfortable in life. I very much want to be a producer of things, both for my family and for the community. So it's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It is.
So to answer your question, we wake up around 6:30.
Okay. That's early. And what and how many, so you've got how many pigs and how many chickens?
We have 50 pigs right now, and we have 20 egg-laying chickens.
Yeah, so we're kind of out of poultry season right now. We'll run, so last year we ran 100 chickens on pasture. This year we're increasing our poultry program, so we will have
300.
We'll do 300 chickens and we'll have 50 turkeys. In addition to the current, we have 50 pigs, and we're going to do rotational groups of 50 pigs throughout the year. So
yeah, I think we're going to try and do another. We have 50 pigs now. We're going to try and do another. I think 150 is what I'm aiming for the rest
by the end of the year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Look at the eyebrows. My thoughts exactly, Kim.
Yeah. And what about like down the road, like what's in the horizon? Like, are you going to get into vegetables and things like that? Or is it just like, what is your plan there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so today I've been working on doing a bit of research so that my garden is a lot more productive this year.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be looking at implementing some no-till strategies into vegetable garden, which we hope will also give us the opportunity to feed our animals from the farm as well.
We'll do some bulk crops like pumpkins, mango wurzel, things like that we can then feed to the pigs and the chickens to enhance their nutrition.
Yeah,
so.
And as well, there's also a lot of infrastructure to do. Long-term goal for the farm is to have quite a bit of perennial crops on the property as well. So fruit trees and nut trees and this type of things that we don't have to plant every year. So that's kind of like long-term, 5 to 10 year goal is to have that type of production, and then be able to run our livestock program in and amongst the perennials. So it's complicated, but it's not really complicated. We want to grow fruit and nut trees, and that's
and have a whole fleet of animals. We'll be increasing our livestock program as well. So we hope to bring some Highland cattle to the farm. We're bringing a new breed of pigs called the Kuni pig this spring, and probably in the future we'll extend to maybe some sheep and or goats and some geese and ducks, all sort of working together. So.
Wow. Well, and I keep thinking too, like with and just talking about sort of obviously the livestock, but also the vegetables and the perennials, as you're saying, it's like we really got away from eating food that's not native to our country and our soils and our environment. So I can't imagine that obviously there's going to be a higher nutrient density, so it's better for us. But I think we're probably built to eat that way.
Yeah, and just working on localizing our food system has so many benefits. If even the simple fact of the transport costs, you have an apple that was grown in Ontario versus an apple that came all the way from New Zealand, the environmental impact of that single apple. So the choices that you make when you go to the grocery store or your farmer's market, saying, you know what, I'm choosing. And even when you go to the farmer's market, it's important to ask questions, because just because someone's at the farmer's market doesn't mean they're local. So you need to ask those questions. Where do these fruits and vegetables come from? How did they get here? It's unfortunately, it is the job of the consumer, because a lot of times there's misleading information when it comes to the marketing of our food.
Chances are, if you go to your local farmer's market up here and you buy a bag of oranges, they were not actually grown here.
No, just a tip. Yeah. Well, and that actually brings me to my next question: is how can people find you? Like, how can they learn more about you and buy your products?
Okay. Well, we would love it if you wanted to hop onto our online farm store. So we have a website, sterlinghillfarm.ca. Right. We have an online farm store where you can purchase all of our existing products. We'll also be posting updates about things that are coming. For example, we have a lot of people asking about our poultry. So when we'll have chickens available, we'll be doing pre-orders for our chicken in the spring, summer. So we'll post updates there. And we also do try to make a pretty consistent effort to share what we're doing on the farm through our social media platforms. So on Facebook and Instagram, you can follow us at Sterling Hill Farms with an S. And we should just share the day-to-day there. I mean, I say we, it's mostly me because Brad's not an Instagrammer, but just share where the animals are living, how they're treated, what they're eating, the day-to-day of sort of what we're working towards and our goals for the farm. We really believe that we can't do this on our own. It's a community effort. So we want to involve our community in everything that we're doing. And it's cool to share that excitement with the people around us. So.
And where do you find so do you find people are coming from like the Almaguin area, Muskoka, is that your primary consumer?
Yeah, so we're working right now. We're actually just really getting our wheels off the ground. We just got pork products for sale in mid-December. So really just getting started. Yeah. A lot of local support coming from Huntsville, Burks Falls, everywhere down to Bracebridge. We have a couple retail locations that have brought us on, which we're really appreciative for. We have Fresh Nutrition and Lifestyle, which is an awesome store in Gravenhurst that is carrying our pork products, as well as Algonquin Fine Foods in Magnetawan, which is carrying our stuff as well. And we've just recently started a farm stand in Burks Falls. So we're doing a weekly farm stand. We post the updates. Typically we'll do Saturdays. We're not going to do this Saturday because it's a blizzard.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna have to dig out tomorrow.
yeah, we're working on actually expanding that and getting some other local farms to join us, who will be carrying produce and some other locally farmed goods at a local farms market, which will be in Burks Falls throughout the spring and summer this coming year. So we're excited about that too.
That's great. Good. And just one final question, or I guess it's, do you see, like when I think of farming, I think of more Southwest Ontario, like Milverton, Stratford, that kind of area. Do you see, and I know there's some beautiful farmlands in Burks Falls and Omeguin and around, and it's just, do you feel that more people might be coming up this way eventually, or do you think that you're going to, again, part of the movement?
Yeah, absolutely. This area is, I think, going to, and is currently experiencing a boom of growth. There's a lot of people moving here with their families because they want to try living a different way. And the beauty of the regenerative farming with the perennials and that type of thing is that we don't need flat, typical, what you would think of like for growing a monocrop of corn or something. Like
you don't need to be able to run a huge combine across it. You can do it on a smaller scale.
Can be done with all this equipment. You can grow on a hillside that is full of rocks, and you can come up with some very healthy, nutritious food that is really good to eat, and it's good for the environment too.
Yeah.
So,
but just since we've started the farm stand, we've actually met and talked to a lot of people who are new to the area or who are just getting started, who really are wanting to work towards something similar, to do a homestead or to raise some animals, or really get into gardening. And it's exciting. It's exciting to find that community of people and support each other. And so if anybody's watching this that wants to become a farmer, we don't really know what we're doing, but you should do it.
Well,
if you have any questions, ask Brad.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'll make sure that I include your information on how to find you, and of course follow you on social. And that's how I learned about you. And so guys, thank you so much. And I'm really excited to see how you evolve and grow, and we certainly need this in our community. So I will also be in touch to find you at the farmers market, but not this Saturday. Maybe next Saturday.
Not this Saturday, no. Well, we really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and to show us some support. We appreciate that, and we're excited for what's next too. So.
Yeah.